What's going on, family? This is the King LiKuiD Show, and I'm your man, King LiKuiD. That's LiKuiD, the K for the King, not the Q for the Queen. And up next, we've got our weekly news and updates. This is Third Sundays, reggae, Afrobeat, and jazz. I'm going to be hitting you with some reggae, Afrobeat, and jazz, or as I refer to it, hashtag Raj Sundays. But before we get back into the mix, let's go down and get this news going on here. All right, family. Had a few topics that I wanted to cover with you. Got two main ones I want to get into. The first one is Attorney General William Barr. Some of y'all may have heard a little bit about this, but here we go. Attorney General William Barr has essentially threatened black communities, and I'm just going to say it's the black community because as I continue, you'll understand why. He has essentially said that any community that protests against police brutality, you risk having the police serving your community. You hear what I said, family? So for those of us in the black community, a white imperialist cop can come in, shoot your father, your mother, your son, your daughter, unarmed, kill your friend, your loved one, unarmed. And if we protest, if we light up the block like we did in Ferguson and Baltimore, now no more police service. Look here, let me say this right now. I say good, because if there's no more cops there, then there's no cops there that have an incentive to beat up and brutalize and get black people pushed into the prison industrial complex. All right. And then the second thing is, hey, if you ain't gonna send cops, great. We can keep our tax dollars. We don't have to give it to any more you white imperialists, because ultimately what we're doing, our tax dollars, we're paying you to come and shoot us and murder us unarmed. All right. And then the last thing to keep in mind, family, when we talk about police and the police in this country, you have to understand that America laid her economic backbone by genociding Native American people and taking their land, and then enslaving my ancestors, black people, for 250 years. We had 250 years of chattel slavery. So that means that this country did not have to pay for labor for 250 years. Can y'all understand how that would essentially make a nation addicted? Because it's not used to having to do its own labor. Okay? So then that's one of the reasons why when the Civil War came to an end, immediately you had to have the 13th Amendment put in place. And in the Declaration of Independence, it says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. However, when you go to the U.S. Constitution after 1865, Civil War comes to an end, and immediately we got to put it in the 13th Amendment. Hey, slavery is now illegal except if you are convicted of a crime. So America says land of the free, home of the brave. How free are we really when you have it in your constitutional laws, the framework laws of your nation, of our nation, that, hey, slavery can still be legal, but it has to be at the state level. At the individual level, people cannot own slaves, but the state, it's okay for us to own slaves. Y'all feel that, family? And then you have a police force that backs that up. All I gotta say about this whole Attorney General William Barr thing, Tupac said it best. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. And that's the exemplification of that. And that's exactly what he's talking about. Black folks should just be happy to be murdered by the police, die quietly, and just keep our head down and hope we don't get killed the next day. Fuck that. Okay? Next topic. Reid. Reid. Whew, man. I mean, talk about the stench of death, family. I mean, the old black media, when it comes to Reid and Roland Martin, these fools, I must admit, it's somewhat amusing to see them do cartwheels and backflips to avoid reparations and tangibles and doing anything for black people, and more importantly, proving to their white imperialist paymasters that they are still relevant. I'm sorry, you're no longer relevant. I mean, it's got to the point now where Joy Reid has a guest on there. I think her name was Sherlyn Miles, if my memory serves me correctly. I may be wrong on that because I don't have her name right in front of me. So if I am wrong, I apologize up front if I threw the wrong name, if I dropped the wrong name out there. That's not what I'm trying to do. But the focus should be Joy Reid because they brought her on Joy Reid's show. So Joy Reid wants to put it out there that anyone who is asking for tangibles in return for their vote, anyone who says that politics should be a business transaction, anyone who says that, any account online that says that, all accounts online that say we want something in return for our vote, they are now Russian bots. Wow. So let's run this down for a minute, family. To the Jewish Americans, right? When it come time for Bernie Sanders, when it's time for him to write the Holocaust Railway Justice Act of 2011, which ultimately meant reparations for Jews because of what happened in Germany. Didn't happen here in America, but it happened in Germany, okay? When they go and vote, there's a tangible there for them. They're going to get something in return. When it comes for the Asians, they have an Asian economic expansion bill. I don't remember the HR number, but there's an actual bill that's going to equal dollars and cents going into the pockets of Asians and the Asian community for a vote, okay? When it comes to the Hispanics, LULAC is one of the big Hispanic organizations, right? Matter of fact, I saw something where Joe Biden went to go and talk to a group of Hispanics, and them Hispanics pretty much told him, hey, Joe, we want you to promise us that deportations will end permanently. So that ultimately means you could have mass rapists coming up in here, child molesters coming up in here, man. It don't matter. Any and everybody, it's open season to come in here. And the Hispanics want a promise from Joe that no more deportations, period. Wow. So, but suddenly when black folks say, look, $20 trillion check, and we want annual tangibles, every 5 years a tangible plan. When we say that, now it's a problem. Now we're Russian bots. So, Joy Reid, honey, you have just, obviously you didn't pay attention to what happened with Kamala Harris when she was specifically asked, you expect me to do something for black people? No! She pretty much put the nail in her coffin. I want to call it right now. Joy Reid, as of this moment, based on this show that you have essentially put the nail in your coffin on your career. You would never go to any other group of people and say to them, just go and vote and don't expect anything in return. They would skin you alive, Joy, and you know it. No, you figure that your white paymasters are going to protect you. They're not. Okay, you got the new voices of black media that are out here. The black media is rising. We're taking over news media. We're taking over music and DJ shows again. We are redefining and building for ourselves. So folks like King LiKuiD, I ain't got to worry about going to Viacom or going to Comcast or going to NBC or any of these others saying, hey, I'm doing the King LiKuiD show. Please put me on your platform. And if you put me on your platform, I'll sabotage my own people. Never. And what makes it so sad is Joy Reid is one of these African immigrants, comes from Ghana, if my memory serves me correctly. And take a look at how the Ghanaian people have dealt with colonialism. They're trying to get out from underneath colonialism and grow and build themselves. Okay? But I guess it makes sense for Joy Reid because they do practice tribalism quite a bit. And since those black people that came out of the slave plantations are from a different tribe, they don't count and they don't matter. So, Joy, I'm here to tell you that you don't count and you don't matter either. Catch me next week for news and updates. This is the King LiKuiD Show, and I am your man, King LiKuiD. Let's get back to the mix and see what else I got up my sleeve. This is the King LiKuiD Show.